Hey, what is up guys? It's your boy Speed here, and today we're back. We're doing the mid-tier list for patch 7 point. What patch are we in? I don't know, it's been a minute since we've had a patch, which is fine. Valve was doing great for a while. I mean, I guess the most recent big patch hasn't been for a minute. We'll cut them some slack. We're in 7.37C. We're gonna be going over the mid-tier list so you guys can hopefully pick some better heroes in your pubs and actually gain some MMR. And yeah, let's hop right into it. On top of that, go sign up to the Game League website, guys. I'm posting new content over there almost every day, and I'll see you there. Alright, starting off with the E tier, we have Coddle, Tusk, and TA. I think all these heroes are just quite abysmal. I mean, I don't even know why I have Tusk still in here. This hero was a mid hero in like 2018. Drinking Buddies mid Tusk is definitely not good. Tag Team mid Tusk is definitely not good. I would not pick this hero. I think as a support, even in average pubs, it is not the hero to go to. It's a little bit too hard to play. Ever since Cuddle's Solar Bind has gotten nerfed, it's been an awful mid hero. On top of the cooldown, I think, of its ultimate. And then TA got nerfed to the ground multiple times as well. I thought the hero had some potential as a mid with the Void Blades facet, because you can deny with Meld. So maybe there's some potential there, but in general, TA tends to be an awful pub hero, because it does not scale well into the game, and it's very finicky. You have to be super optimized to make this hero good. Next up in the D tier, we have Tiny, Monkey King, and Bat Rider. Tiny as a hero is just another one of those heroes in pubs that tends to have a terrible win rate, and I think it mainly comes down to execution. It's a very high execution hero, especially as the game progresses. You have to be very good at tossing people together or tossing people back. It's very non-straightforward, hard to execute, and the laning stage is also not so easy, because you have to use the tree solely to last and deny. People will waste it on harassing, and that's just not good. So yeah, also the scaling on this hero, it's not the worst if you go like Conda Ags, but I don't know, it's just difficult. Then we have Monkey King. Talking about difficult, man, if you're not an expert, don't play this hero. Do not play this hero. This is an expert-only hero. This is a one-trick type of hero. It's a hero you gotta counter-pick your mid-matchup and then really know what you're doing. Otherwise, it is D. If you're a hyper specialist, it's a B tier hero in my opinion. But if you're not, it's D or even E. Then we have Bat Rider. The Arsonist facet's cool. You can take all the towers early on. It's a pretty good laner, but that's where it ends. I think it's really hard to get kills in the mid game. It's really hard to scale, and you'll notice this as a trend anytime I make mid tier lists. Scaling is big for me. If you can't scale easily and reliably into the game, it's not good for your average pub that will delay and drag on to 30 to 45 minutes on average. I just don't think Bat fits that at all. Then we have Primal Beast, hard to play, very high skill ceiling. The late game is difficult just because of execution. If you're a one trick, it's a B tier hero. Then we have Pugna, just way too difficult to scale. The farming potential isn't there. It's good in lane and it has a very strong early game, so you can kind of run over some games, but for the most part, if you don't run over the early game, you're going to be a complete bot. Then we have Pangolier. Just too many nerfs, too many nerfs, too many nerfs. It was never good in average pubs. It like always had a bad win rate, and then it was too good in the pro scene, so it got nerfed, and now it's just like the average player should not touch Pango. It's difficult. The lane isn't that good. The scaling, it's mostly about chain stunning people for your team and having super good execution with the axe. Then we have Slaughter, who used to be a mid hero. I guess I could probably take him off. He's more of an off laner. I think as a mid, it's like okay, you can rotate through the river really quickly due to the river bonus movement speed with your Q. So it's like kind of cute. It's not the worst. It's just a better offlaner in terms of scaling. It's better when paired with high damage heroes. So if you have too many stuns, like you have an offlane mid that are both stunners, it's just not going to feel good. Then we have Lina mid. It's just way too greedy. Just play it as a carry. Then we have Ember. Got way too many nerfs. Dazzle. I really feel like Dazzle mid could be better if people super optimize it. I think it could be a B tier, mid B tier hero. But you gotta take Poison Plume and you gotta AFK farm Ancients. With the way the average person plays it, which is just like fighting, trying to dominate the lane and then fighting constantly, it's just awful. Super not a believer in Dazzle if you just fight all the time. I think it's a farmer. Then we have DP, got a few nerfs. I think the hero is maybe better than low, like average C tier, maybe low B tier, because it can buy some good items like Shiva's, and it can even be an aura buyer mid like Atos Shiva's Crimson, or Atos Pipe. Can be good even from the mid-roll, or it can just go something right-click like Phase, Witchblade, Atos, some angle like that, the BKB. But I don't know. I haven't seen this hero in a while in my pubs. I don't think it has a good win rate. It's just not it. Then we have Shadow Fiend, way too many nerfs. Way too many nerfs. Like literally, it was so good for a bit, and then Wind Ranger, better as a carry. I think Focus Fire Wind Ranger is kind of out of the meta now. It's like a decent laner, but I think in terms of the early game fighting, it just gets nuked down too much. It's better if you can slow down the pace of the game and hit your mid-game timings, which is why carry Wind Ranger is better. Then we have Nature's Prophet. I think it's, in the pro scene, it's a B or even a low A tier hero, but I think for your average pubs, it's too greedy. You got to know what you're doing in the early game. If you TP too early, you're just going to feed. You got to know when to slow down the pace of the game and farm. You have to know when to buy the shard, or you have to buy the shard. More simply, you have to buy the shard. And yeah, the scaling on this hero is good, but only if you really know what you're doing. Like, this is a one-trick hero. I think it's high B tier if you're a one-trick. Then we have Storm. He's fine. I don't know what else to say. Storm's like fine. He's like just average. Super average. Earth Spirit. Super average. Apparently people think this hero is like kind of decent in the pro scene, but for pubs, it's just okay. Huskar, too many nerfs. Sure, if you want to cheese last pick an Ember Spirit, it's probably going to feel like an A tier hero, but other than that, nope. Definitely C tier. Then we have Puck. I think Puck's pretty good if you, it's another one of those one trick heroes where if you want to hyper specialize, Puck is a really dominant pub hero. Like, let me tell you, I do believe Puck is one of those heroes where if the guy's a level 30 Puck and he has a good lane, it's like my least favorite hero to play against. It can cut waves without dying, it can solo kill most supports, it scales beautifully with a variety of builds, Parasma and Octarine into Sanch and Kaya, or Ags with Mjolnir. It can scale in a plethora of ways, and so I am a believer in Puck and pubs because of its scaling, but very high execution. The early game is clunky. You gotta truly know what you're doing, which is why it's in B tier. If you know what you're doing, it's an A tier hero. Then we have Meepo, good pub hero because it scales. Then we have Kunkka, more of an offlane hero, but it's so good in pubs because of how tanky it is and how well it can frontline with Blade Mail and bait people to go on it with its rum, its innate rum, and its boat rum, that I do believe it's a B tier hero. Just go Blade Mail into Ags, into Shard, and after that you can even buy auras, even from mid Kunkka. Then we have Earthshaker. I think this is a B tier hero, but more so if you pick it into good matchups, so like into Ember, into Void Spirit, into Riki, into Pango, into Primal Beast, like any of the melee heroes. If you can get an Earth Spirit, it's going to be one of the best mids in the game. It just like, if you can get off to a good lane and a good blink timing, this hero is so explosive. Blink, Ags, BKB, you can go wild. Then we have Invoker, who I've seen a rise in popularity of. Apparently it's a very reliable laner. You buy a lot of stats, and the main build that people are doing right now is Wraithband, Treads, Witchblade. The Witchblade synergizes with Cold Snap, similar to Vessel. So you run around with Ghostwalk. One of the nice buffs to the hero recently is that they made it where you can change around your spells while in Ghostwalk. So you can like reset the order. And this is great because you can change your mind between like, do I need to Tornado based on who I bump into? Do I need to Alacrity Cold Snap based on who I bump into? Do I want to EMP Cold Snap based on who I bump into? So you can really change your spells based on, you know, the situation. You can even switch to like a Sunstrike if you think something might break out. So it's really cool. I think that's like super great, that change that they gave to him. And so yeah, this hero is pretty good. It's just like Wex with Witchblade, and then you scale into right click. And so it does scale. The main thing I'm seeing is like Witchblade into Pike with like sometimes a BKB, sometimes then into just like straight Daedalus. You just click with Alacrity and the talents. Then we have Leshrac. This hero's fine. You take Misanthropist, which I believe, I looked up the word misanthropy today, and I believe it means you would hate humans and humanity, which I guess Leshrac does. Me too. No. I don't know. I feel like I always dislike this hero in average pubs because you have to really know when to run in. But to be fair, it's better than ever to just like run in with a max edict and just insta-kill people. And Lesh is really good at that right now. In terms of scaling, it's got good talents. Bloodstone's still really good. Kaya Sanch, that's just the usual. We have Tinker. I genuinely believe this hero is a good mid. I'm shocked no one's trying it as a mid. Like, I'm sure Healbot's Tinker is good mid, guys. Like, yes, it's probably better side lane because you can heal you and an ally. But I don't know, it's like a heavy farming hero that like can just be a hyper utility bot. Why not? I think Healbot's Tinker is something mid. One of you guys try it and let me know how it goes. I'm certain it's good. I wanted to put it in the B tier because like, there's no way an easy to execute, massive healing mid Tinker that can just buy 40 utility items and have CDR on all of them is not good. Just go Holy Locket Greaves, Holy Locket Solar, the usual, the support build. I'm sure it's good mid. Then we have Pudge. I actually believe in this hero mid. I think the main way to play it though is by hooking the large camp over and over and over again and getting hyper farm. I think a lot of people roam too much, and that's fine once you get your first item, like your Phase Boots Windlace, but like early on, get a really early level 6 by hooking the large camp and going nuts. Then we have Racer. I think this hero scales really well in pubs right now due to the Thunderhead talent. Basically, it makes it where during your ulti, your passive, your Storm Surge, is twice as likely to proc, so 36% chance, and it has only a 0.5 second cooldown on the E, so your E can proc like crazy. And so essentially what you do now is you take this, and on mid, I saw Mar play it. He still went just BKB, and that's what I recommend. You just go Wand, Wraithband, Raindrops, Treads into Windlace, into BKB. After that, you just buy like Manta into Satanic, and you just become really tanky, and you take advantage of this Thunderhead facet that is really broken. There's also Aura Razors going around, not on mid, but Aura Razor is really good for this reason too. Then we have Timber. I think this hero just, honestly, I thought it would be lower win rate, but this hero has a good win rate in pubs. I think Twisted Chakram Timber, or even Shredder Timber, I think Twisted Chakram mid Timber is better, just so your early ganks are a bit more explosive because you don't have your W maxed out in the early game. So I think it's better to take Twisted Chakram and just use it to kind of like blow people up in the early game. And then from there, I mean, the scaling is pretty straightforward. It's just like Ags tends to be the main thing. I would go Kaya into Ags in the majority of games. If they have only magic damage or they have dispels, you can go Kaya into Eternal Shroud, into Shiva's, and there just be a frontline tank with Shiva's Ags or Shiva's Eternal Shroud. Next up we have Zeus, just Zeus, nuke people. Then we have Dragonite. I think this hero is like a fine mid. You go Fire Dragon, you can farm up Ancients, hit some nasty timings, scale with Blink BKB into Bloodthorn. Then we have Quap, big believer in Dagon Quap with the Masochist facet giving you amp, right? It's really, really powerful, heavy nuke damage, super reliable right now. Then we have Odie. I never see this hero in the pro scene, but it has, I mean, let me be real, it's got a really good win rate. That's like the only reason I have it here. I don't really like doing that. Usually it's mainly based off my own experience plus win rates, but no one picks Odie in high MMR. Is it good in low MMR? Yeah, and the strict reason is just because this hero scales like a beast. It's not very good at farming, but it scales super well. I've watched it in some pubs, low MMR pubs, and it can just kind of blow people up. Like, let me tell you, it can deal a lot of damage. Plus this Obsidian Decimator facet makes it where when you Essence Flux restores mana, which is on your Qs, it increases your max mana, which seems really good. It's 4% max mana increase for 10 seconds. So in the late game, when you have like Pike Moonshard with Parasma, you can kind of go nuts on this hero. Like, you can do a lot, and the scaling is unbelievable with the ult. You can eventually get a refresher. Like, this hero scales well. Then we have Arc Warden, just scaling, double Gleipnir, right clicker. That's the only reason it's high B tier for average pubs. It's a nasty scaling hero. We have Viper. I'm a big believer in Viper. You guys probably know that. I think the Predator innate is really, really good. I think the laning on this hero is really, really good. It has a lot of solid matchups. I will admit, I mean, there are some bad matchups in the meta right now. Like Sniper is really bad, and that hero is super meta. Quap is really good. What else is good against? I guess there's not too many good ones. Invoker is like okay. I don't know. There's actually not very many good matchups. Yeah, like things like Wind Ranger out of the meta, Lena's kind of out of the meta, so there's not really very many good responses to Viper. Then at the final B tier hero, we have Sniper. I wanted to put this hero higher. I really am a big believer in Sniper, but I don't know, people just can't win. Its win rate's 49% on Dota buff. I'm such a believer in it though. I feel like if you maximize everything, like if your side lanes are greedy, you take Scattershot, you roam, you make things happen. If you want to farm, you can take Ghillie Suit, so you have options in terms of what you want to do. Ghillie Suit, really good in the lane. Just so you can have the normal shrapnel, and it's really good against melee heroes, so you can just zone them off the creep wave and free farm. You can use it to stack, take stacks, and yeah, I don't know, this hero, like, it scales well. Like, Ghillie Suit in the late game is really good, so you can shoot people without showing. I don't know, it has super good talents. Like, I don't know how Sniper doesn't have a higher win rate. I'm a super believer in the hero. In terms of items, I recommend going Maelstrom into Dragonlance. I'm also a big believer in, like, Utility Sniper, where you can kind of just go like Shard, Gleipnir, Pike, and you can be more of a frontliner. I'm not kidding. When you have Pike, Shard, Gleipnir on this hero, you're really tanky and really hard to kill. And you can super bait people to go on you, and you're not going to die. So I think that build's really good. Pike, Shard, Mjolnir is also really good. And yeah, I don't know. This hero's solid. Then in the A tier, we have Riki. Yes, I think Riki mid is super good right now. So there's two main ways to play Riki right now that people are experimenting with. I think in average pubs, it's better to take Contract Killer, which is the facet where it gives you bonus experience for kills. And obviously this one is kind of just good because it lets you snowball. It lets you obviously get really, really high levels. And then those levels give you even more levels because every time you level up your ulti, it gives you more XP per kill and per assist. So this is the better like heavy snowball, but there's also this really interesting facet, Exterminator, which it makes it where Tricks of the Trade is 4.5 times agility bonus when attacking non-hero units, so creeps. So basically it makes it where your E can farm, and then you buy Ags, and then you can like one-shot neutral camps and one-shot waves. The thing is, you kind of already do that with Ags, so like that's why I'm a little suspect about it, where I feel like Exterminator is sort of unnecessary. It lets you farm in the early game without Ags, and that's the nice thing. When you have max out E and no Ags, it really lets you, because it gives you 450 agility against creeps, which is like, it's kind of nice for that. And I can see the line where if you're good about farming, which most people just are not, they're really bad at farming in between engagements. If you're good at it, Exterminator, wonderful just for killing camps in between. Contract Killer's kind of just the brain dead run around with the Fusel, get killed. To be fair, you do that with either facet, but yeah, another thing that I like about Riki is they super buffed Backstab recently. They made it way better. So it does way more damage. Like, way more damage. It went from 0.4 agility multiplier to 0.55 at level 1. Like, nasty good in the early game. It's like really, really good. When you skill up your ult, it's also 0.1% better, which is really good as well. They buffed the E recently to go from 40 agility to 55 at level 1. So they just buffed this hero's early game really hard. And it's always been just the dominant pub hero because you kill noobs. Then we have Void Spirit. Yeah, he's in the A tier. Just super good win rate, always has. Ever since they made it where his innate is really, really good, it just gives him more bonuses from his stats. The hero scales extremely well. Sanctuary just makes a barrier that gives you an all damage barrier, so you're tanky. And then you just scale with right click. Like, that's kind of the nice thing. You're just one of the better scaling mids due to this innate, due to the facet. Your talents are pretty good, the later ones at least. Astral Step charges, Astral Step crit. So this hero just becomes a right click menace. The main build I'm seeing is Manta and Ags into something like Parasma, which is, Witchblade. You can also go like Echo Saber into Daedalus. Not first two items. Manta Saber. You can go like Echo, Ags, Daedalus, Echo, Ags, Witchblade, Manta, if you need it for the game, into Ags. I'm a big fan of the Ags. Some people even will just go like Manta Echo and be really tanky, but I think the Ags tends to be a little bit too good in most games. All right, next hero we have Necrophos. I think as a mid hero, it's just really good in standard games, mainly because it's just going to nuke people down. It's a frontliner, has very few bad matchups in the mid, especially considering a lot of the long range mids are out of the meta, like Wind, like SF, like Lina. The heroes that can give Necro problems are not good right now. As a result, Necro is way, way better, especially in a meta where everyone's buying 14 bracers and has 18 billion max health. It's really good to have an ability that decays health. Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that Necro isn't more popular in the pro scene. I think it's mainly because the hero is kind of slow-paced. It's sort of easy to gank if you're synergized. So I think as people get better, Necro conceptually is worse, just because it is a very gankable hero if people kind of are really, really well coordinated with like smokes and shit. But like, no one smokes in 3K, so of course that's not a concern. And then, yeah, I don't know, it just like bursts down these quad bracer heroes, I mean, I'm not kidding. It's like, it's just a meta of high max HP, and that's what Necro counters. It is what he is good against, and so it makes sense that this hero is good. I believe it's undervalued in high MMR, should be looked at more, and yeah. Next up, we have Lone Druid. Super big believer in this hero as a mid with the bare necessities, just standard bracer into treads into Gleipnir. After that, you can go Harpoon or Disperser and just go nuts. Then you buy Vlad's on the bear. It's a really good laner. You take all the early towers. It has like no bad matchups mid. You can farm, you can roam on your Gleipnir timing, you can rush a Diffusal and just be a super heavy roamer. But the main thing I recommend you do is just buy a Maelstrom, hit level 12 at minute 13 by farming Ancients with the Maelstrom timing, and just get absolutely massive. And you're going to feel like a beast on this hero if you do that. Just hit a minute 14 to 15 Gleipnir, and then get active, and you're going to feel like the strongest hero in the game. All right, and finally, the S tier mid of the patch, and I can confidently say this one, I believe this is the best mid, is Sand King. Maybe to no one's surprise, maybe to some people's surprise. I don't think people realize this hero is a nasty mid, but let me tell you, very few bad mid matchups. To be fair, it can be really bad against Lone Druid. It's pretty good against Necro generally, just because it does so much magic damage and it can push out the wave really quickly. It's pretty good against the other A tier heroes, but I don't know, it's like semi-bad against Viper, it's semi-bad against Sniper, so it has some meh matchups, but the hero is just so broken with Dust Devil that it just kind of doesn't matter. If this hero farms too fast, it can take Ancients, be level 10 at minute 10. I laned against a Lone Druid in a rank game, a Lone Druid spammer, and I killed his bear twice and solo killed him. Wanna know why? Because Sand King just insta-kills the mid wave. He just pushes, like, pushing the wave in the side lanes is way worse than mid. This Caustic Finale being an 8 is much better mid than the side lane. So I'm just constantly pushing in the wave. I'm clicking my E, I'm exploding the wave. Then at level 3, I have 2-point Sandstorm. I'm insta-killing the wave because I have 3 Wave Shove nukes, my Caustic, Sandstorm, and Stinger. And then at level 3, if the lane is bad, you can just jungle. If it's good, you push in the wave and jungle. If it's bad, you just jungle. You just drag 2 camps together and jungle. Or you stack and jungle. I'm not kidding. Sand Kings will stack at minute 2. And then take the camp in between the wave because they insta-kill the wave and they can go farm the large camp. Like, if you get good at this hero, it's broken. If you're terrible at this hero, it's broken. If you're good, it's like heinous. Rush a Bloodstone, walk into the enemy team, you're not going to die. You're going to kill them all. Then you buy a Blink, then you buy a Shiva's, then you buy a BKB or an Eternal Shroud, and you just go into the enemy team, and they all die. And the scaling is absurd. So yeah, this hero kind of does it all. Really good talents. I think skip the 10 talent. At 15, you take Sandstorm. Then at 20, honestly, both are really good, but I like taking the Epicenter. And then at 25, the Epicenter Pulses is really, really good. However, they're both really good. Sandstorm, Slow, and Blind is nasty good with Bloodstone. So yeah, Sand King kind of does it all nowadays. And that's why it is first phase pick ban in the pro scene. And its win rate in pubs is stupid good as well. This hero is brain dead, easy, and OP. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.
And that's all. But remember, before you leave, come on, before you tune out, subscribe to the Game Leap website where we are going to help you get to the next rank. If you're stuck, click the link down below, and I'm out. Peace.